Hey guys, welcome back to UModeler. In this video, we're going to take a look at the Pelt tool in UModeler X Pro. It helps unwrap curved shapes like heads by spreading out the UVs evenly, cutting down, stretching, and keeping things clean. So I'll show you where it is and how it works. All right, so to get started, what we're going to do to unwrap this is there's a few tools that we're going to use. We're going to use, of course, the Pelt tool to show how it can help relax the UVs to help increase or decrease the stretching around very tight areas like the nostrils and the edges and the eye areas. But what we're going to do is we're going to use some other tools to kind of help facilitate this. So the first thing we're going to do is go and use the Mark Seams tool, because what we want to do is unwrap the bear's head. Now, of course, I'm not going to do the whole bear, the legs and everything, but just as an example, we're just going to do the head area. All right. And so what I'll do is go ahead and select this head, and I have the edge tool. And so I want to go around this head here, all the way around until we create kind of like a loop here. And so that's what we're going to do first. And so now we have that. And so now what we want to do is create a seam. And so I'm going to go down and I'm just going to click on this here where it says Mark UV Seam. Now you can remove UV seams as well, but we're just going to use the mark there. And once you do that, you can see that it turns into a orange color here. All right, great. Now we can also go a step further and do the same thing for this back part. So I want to go ahead and mark some additional loops here. So I want to go ahead and do this neck area. So I'm going to go ahead and select all the edges until I get a clean loop all the way around. And then I'll just go ahead and select Mark Seam there as well. Great. All right. So that's looking pretty good. And I think I'm just going to leave it just like that, just so that we can see how this works quickly. So what I'm going to do now is select the faces that I plan to unwrap. So I'm going to go into my face tool here, and I'm just going to select kind of right up to that edge that I did the loop on. And so now here, what we're going to do is go into our editor tool, and I'm going to select editor, and then I'm going to select UV editor. And in here, we have a host of different options. But the first thing I want to actually do, I'm going to select LSCM. And this does a great job of taking our object, the faces that we have selected, and based on the seams that we cut, it's going to unwrap it pretty well. And so we have this face area here that's going to be this section here. And then we have the other half of that we did here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and make this larger so we can see more of this. And what we can do now is take our tool and we can do a few different things. We can rotate this if we need to. So I can use the rotate tool here and we can do that. And if you want to rotate this one, we can do that as well. But for now, let's just kind of focus it on this face area. All right. And so now with that, we have the Pelt tool. So you want to go into Unwrap Group, all to the right, Pelt. And here you have a bunch of different options. We're going to leave it pretty much as the default settings here. But I'll click on a couple things just to kind of show you generally how this works. So we can change the iterations. Obviously, the more iterations, you're going to get more changes with that. We can change the strength as well. Another one, you can look at the allow island boundary to move. We're going to leave that checked, but I'll show you kind of how that does that. But then, of course, you have the Pelt button. And so I'm going to select all of these here. With those selected, I'm going to hit Pelt. And what we're going to see is we're going to see some changes in the UV spacing of our faces and our vertices up in these really tight areas. And we really want it to be a little bit more smoothed out or uniformed, or maybe another word they would use is relaxed. So I'm going to hit Pelt. And as you can see, it's starting to relax those areas, kind of getting them not so close, to kind of getting them, kind of spreading them off a little bit there. And so as you can see, it's kind of cleaning that up a little bit. And we can add more iterations if you want, and it's going to kind of make the effect work a little bit more. Now, if I was to select Allow Island Boundary here, so it's going to take this outer edge here and kind of stretch that a little bit. Now, that's not something you have to use. It just kind of depends on what you're going with. So for instance, if if I would have only created edge loops maybe in this area, maybe that would help, but it just kind of depends on what you're going for. And we can do the same thing here, so we can select all of this, and maybe it will clean up some of those areas. As you can see, it kind of smooths that out a little bit. It's kind of nicely kind of cleaning that up, getting those UVs from overlapping, because we don't want overlapping UVs either. And so it's going to kind of do a lot of that work for us. If you ever want to pelt, like, just say a certain area, you can hold down the shift key and actually click and drag, and you can kind of select just a certain area that you want to select, and then you can just hold down the shift key to select kind of what you want, and then you can use the pelt just on a certain region that you're focused on. And that's pretty much it. It's not the most complicated thing to show, but it is very useful to use, especially on organic shapes when you're unwrapping your mesh. Now, of course, if we were to continue this and we were working with legs or feet, and what I do is I've already added the mark seams tool. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and just select these faces here, just so that we can get a quick understanding of that. All right, so I have those there, and I'll just go ahead and go to the UV editor, and I'll hit that. And so what I'll do is go to LSCM, and so there's the feet there, and as you can see, it's marked the seams and then it unwrapped it, but we want to clean this up a little bit. So we're going to use the Pelt tool. I'm just going to go straight to Pelt, and it's going to be nice. It's going to kind of separate a lot of those UVs, kind of get those not so close, kind of cleaning it up. And so now you have the top and the bottom of the bear's foot, and you can texture it appropriately. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found some useful ways to use the Pelt tool in UModeler X. Thank you all for watching, and be sure to stay up to date with the latest features and updates by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the notification bell. More tools and content is on the way. I'll see you soon.